All right. Hello on YouTube. Welcome to our Yin Yoga class for today. My name is Christiana, and I'm happy to be leading you through practice today. We'll get started today on our mats. Make sure you have a pillow or a yoga bolster. Make sure you have 2 yoga blocks or just grab some extra pillows. Couch pillows work great as yoga blocks. And then also grab a blanket. And if you're feeling chilly already, grab a cozy jacket. I have my favorite essential oils in my diffuser, a nice calming lavender. And if you wish, you might even put on your favorite calming music in the background or check out my Spotify account for some playlists that I like to incorporate with my yin practice. So for those of you that are new to yin yoga, basically the idea yin is we hold yoga postures longer, so anywhere from 2 to 5 to 7 minutes. And the hope is that by doing a few less poses than normal, so anywhere from like 5 to 12 poses perhaps in a yoga class, and holding them for a longer amount of time, we can hopefully get deeper into the connective tissues, releasing built-up tension that can sometimes be carried in those connective tissues for years and years. And not only that, but yin is really a challenge and practice for the mind as well, because we're holding these poses for a lot longer than we may be used to. So don't be afraid or down on yourself today if you find that the mind is a little restless, that the mind's wandering, or that you feel bored at all at any point. Know that this is a new practice, and it might be a little boring for your first time around. But I really encourage you to stick with it and find the variation of the pose that's just right for you. And over time, the mind will get stronger. Our patience will grow, and hopefully we'll be able to find more contentment in the situations that we're faced with, not just in our yoga poses, but perhaps in life as well. So join me today as we dive into our hips, doing lots of different movements and yin poses for the hip joint, and really focus on finding contentment is the offering for you guys this evening. So let's jump in by starting with some movements to kind of get some of that energy moving and flowing so then we can start to wind down. So we'll start on our hands and knees in what I like to call, or what is, tabletop pose. So as you're here in your tabletop pose, we're on our hands and knees, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and start to move the spine. So as you inhale, begin to drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the chin from the chest for cow pose. And then as you exhale, start to tuck the tailbone around the spine and bring the chin into the chest. And start to flow through these on your own. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, cat pose. Continue flowing through these movements with your own breath. And feel free to add on any other movements like rocking of the hips side to side, or perhaps circling out through the wrists. Take any movements here that may feel good in your body. Notice how the body's feeling, and notice where the breath is flowing. Deep breaths in, full breaths out. Start to extend your right leg straight back behind you, pressing the toes down into the mat. Just begin to press backwards through the heel. Getting a nice stretch along the calf. Take a deep breath in, keep pressing into the palms, and hold for the exhale. A few more breaths here. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Big breath in, deep breath out. Go ahead and relax the knee back down to the mat and switch to the other leg, this time extending our left leg back behind us. pressing into the ball of the foot and then pressing backwards through the heel. Continue pressing into the palms. Breathe in. Breathe out. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more breath on your own. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and drop both knees back down to the mat. And we'll start to open up through our wrists a little bit by circling out through the hips and wrists in both directions. And now rise up towards a kneeling posture. So just stacking your torso up above the knees. Straighten the arms out in front of you and start to just lean back just enough until the quads start to activate the fronts of the thighs, and then come right back up. Avoiding any pain in the knees here. Just two more. Lean back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rise up. Breathe in. Lean back. Breathe out. Rise up. And just start to release the arms down by your side and find some circles through the arms and shoulders. And then some movements through the head and neck by turning your head towards the right. Inhale. Bring the chin back to center. Exhale. Inhale towards the left. Exhale back to center. Inhale towards the right. Exhale back to center. Great. Coming back towards center here. We'll find a comfortable seat on our mat. All right, you guys, so now that we've got some of our movement and energy flowing in our body and kind of out of the way for practice today, we'll start to take things down a notch and really start to slow down and dive into our yin practice. So we're going to start here lying down on our backs. And we're going to find our yoga blocks. And if you don't have yoga blocks, like I mentioned, you can use couch pillows or really anything that's kind of like a shape like this that can support the body in any way. So the first shape is going to be our reclined butterfly pose, where we bring the soles of the feet together, the knees splay out wide, and we lie down flat on our backs. I'm going to use my blocks here underneath my knees for a really supportive variation to begin class. So if you find that this is too easy, then you can always do it without the blocks or on a lower level or without your blocks or pillows completely by just setting them off to the side. I may come in and out of the posture as we go throughout class, but try your best to stay in the posture and just listen to my voice. So as you're here in this reclined butterfly pose, just notice how it feels with the bottoms of the feet touching. And as you're here, begin to notice if you're already feeling really uncomfortable, then I encourage you to try to find a little more comfort. So that might mean adding extra pillows under the knees, it might mean adjusting, getting a blanket under the back to sit on, or perhaps playing around with the distance of the feet from the body. So maybe taking the heels further away from the body or closer to the body. And then go ahead and settle back into the pose if you found that you had to readjust, lying back down flat. And once you find comfort, take a deep breath in. And an open mouth, exhale out. Begin to notice how you're feeling in the body. Check in with how you're feeling in the mind. Perhaps arriving to your mat, and maybe even a new style of yoga can be a little nerve-wracking. Or perhaps you're so happy to arrive at your mat today that you're feeling very content. As we go throughout our practice today, I encourage you to find an edge where you're still feeling intensity, but not to an overwhelming amount, where you feel pain or so much intensity to the point where you're never going to find any ease in the practice. So find a sustainable variation of the pose that you feel like you can hold for a few moments. And if and when you need to, you can slightly adjust, but try to use your breath to help you remain content. When you have those urges to fidget or give up, I encourage you to first take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Notice how it feels here as you have your spine connected into the earth as you're lying down. If you're looking for a deeper, more warming breath, begin to close your lips. Start to breathe in through the nose. Keeping the lips closed, breathe back out through the nose. Practice this a few times. As you breathe out, it's almost as if you're fogging up a mirror, but with the mouth closed. Deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out through the nose. If for whatever reason this breath is too overwhelming, you're welcome to breathe through your mouth. Just a few more moments here in this pose, you guys. Good work. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Breath comes in. Breath goes out. Bring your hands to the outsides of the thighs and gently close the knees together like a book. Separate the feet now the width of your mat. And then start to windshield wiper the knees back and forth, flopping them both over towards your left. Inhale, knees back to center. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, knees to left. Inhale to center. Exhale, knees to the right. As you bring the knees back towards center, begin to straighten the legs up towards the sky. Getting into the hamstrings, just gently bring the hands to the backs of the thighs, giving some self-massage. Breathe in and breathe out. How does it feel connecting with the body? Can we be satisfied with the moment that we're in right now, no matter where we're at? Can we be okay with right now? Start to bring the knees back in towards the chest. And we're going to straighten our left leg so it's long onto our mat. And bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh for a supine tree pose. You can keep the arms at heart center or extend them straight up over your head, bringing the palms to touch. At any time, in any pose, you might even bring your blanket and drape it over your body. Here, as you settle into your fallen tree pose, you might use a block or a pillow underneath your bent knee to make it less intense. Press in evenly through all parts of the spine and settle into this pose. Remember, we'll be here for a few moments, so make sure you found a level that suits you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I encourage you to focus on one breath at a time. Breath comes in through the nose. Breath goes out through the nose. Can we find contentment in one breath at a time? Knowing that each breath brings us life, and that's all we need in each moment. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Continue here in silence, connecting with the feelings of the pose and the depth in your breath. When the mind and body begins to stir, then we remind ourselves of contentment, focusing on what does feel good, focusing on giving ourselves this self-care and all the benefits we'll reap from being here. Just a few more breaths here, everyone. As you feel ready, relax the arms down by your side. Bring your hand to the outside of your bent knee and gently press it in towards the center of your body. Bend your opposite knee so both knees are bent, and perhaps hug the knees in towards the chest. Take any movements here that feel good that help you reset. Shaking out the legs, rocking side to side. What feels good here? Taking a few more breaths. And notice how your sides may feel different. Your right hip different from the left. Or your left hip different from the right. We'll go ahead and switch to our other side, fallen tree pose. Extending our opposite leg out long, and now bringing the sole of our right foot to the inside of the left leg. If you already did that side last time, then just switch it out so you make sure to get both sides in. Again, if this is too intense, you can use a block or your pillow underneath that bent knee so it's lifted up further from the ground and it's supported so it won't be as intense. So you can choose. As you press down through the backs of your legs, your spine, the back of your head, perhaps extend the arms up overhead to lengthen the sides of the body. Notice how the shape may feel. Notice what sensations are arising in the hips. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out as you settle into the pose. And rather than counting down the length of time in the pose, I encourage you to just focus on each feeling as it comes. Whether it be intensity, calmness, whatever feeling it may be, acknowledge that. And notice how that feeling fits in the grand scheme of where we're at right now. Is that all we're feeling right now? Or perhaps are we also feeling the benefits of the pose? The depth of our breath, the comfort of our blankets and our mat beneath us. Breathe deep. Breath comes in, breath flows out. Breath comes in, breath flows out. As you're ready, relax the arms down by your side. Bring your hands to the outside of your knee and gently draw it in towards the center of your body. Bending both knees now, guide the knees in towards the chest. Gently rock side to side, hugging your right knee towards your right armpit and your left knee towards your left armpit. Take a full breath in and hold for the breath out. Keep squeezing the knees in towards the chest. We'll be here for a few breaths. Breath comes in, breath goes out. If you find that your low back and your hips are lifting off the mat, try your best to root them down towards the mat. Take a deep inhale and a full exhale. Continue with your breath. When the intensity of the pose arrives, what practices do you use to ride that wave? Perhaps seeking contentment through the breath. Or do we have the tendency to focus on the negative? Perhaps the difficulty. Just notice what the mind tends to resort to, seeking to find contentment, even in the slightest amount, or seeking to find discomfort, hardship, negativity. 3 more breaths here. Good. Just working through that posture, getting the inner parts of our hips, the inner thighs. Go ahead and hug the knees together, straighten the legs up towards the scissoring and fluttering the legs. Perhaps drawing circles with the feet, knees, and hips. Find any movements here that feel good. And remember, you guys are all alone in your houses, so don't be afraid to really move and wiggle and feel into what feels good. All right, from here, we're going to straighten our legs out long. Our last lying down pose, and then we'll come to seated for a little bit. And take your left ankle and cross it over your right, so the legs are crossed. And then from here, pick up the ankles and walk them towards the bottom right corner of your mat or your space. Reach your arms up overhead. And take your right wrist and grab onto the left wrist. And reach the arms and the wrists up and over towards the top right corner of your mat as well. So your body is kind of in a banana-like shape here for banana pose. My wrists and arms are at the top right corner, and my ankles crossed are at the bottom right corner of my space. I'm pressing down through my left shoulder and the left side of my body, so it's not lifted off the mat but rooted down. The hope is to feel a nice side body stretch here on the left side. If you're not feeling that yet, just kind of adjust in the pose, thinking about a banana, that like shape, and try your best to dive into that stretch. Remember to find a difficulty level that's going to be sustainable for you to not get overwhelmed over time. Once you settle into the pose, take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. What does contentment look like for you in this pose? What does it look like to slow down and not always be working? Can we still find contentment then? Continue breathing here and enjoy the pose. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Start to move your arms back to center. Move your feet back to center and uncross the ankles. Just switching to the opposite side. Now we'll cross our right ankle over our left. Move the feet over to the bottom left corner of our mat. And then grabbing onto my right wrist with my left hand, up over my head, pressing into the mat and the ground. I'm going to reach that and scoop my arms and shoulders over to the top left corner of my mat. And notice here the right side of my body is still rooting down into the mat. I'm just reaching up and over towards my left. Finding that banana-like shape in your body. And once you settle in, take a deep breath in. And deep breath out. Settle into the pose. Let's all take it one breath at a time. Letting go of expectations and diving into the here and now. What are we feeling right now? When distractions come up, continue finding that just right amount of work. Using the breath and guiding the body. Keep reaching the arms up and over to the top left corner. Breathe in. Keep pressing down through the back side of the body. Breathe out. Breath comes in. Breath goes out. Slowly start to come back towards center with the arms and with the legs, uncrossing the ankles. Relax the arms down by the sides. And take a moment here to just turn the toes and ankles out to the sides and then in towards the center. Out to the side and in towards the center. Just rolling the legs and hips out and in a few times. Check in with how the hips are feeling now, how the back of the body feels. As you're ready, roll over onto your favorite side. Use the arm as a pillow for the head. Take a breath in here and receive the simpleness of this posture. Notice how it feels to be supported, to support yourself with your arm under the head, and to support your soul by seeking to find contentment rather than restlessness and always striving to need more in life. Can we be okay with what we have right here? Through comforting ourselves. Start to press yourself up towards a seat on your mat. How's everyone doing so far? I know about you, but I'm feeling really relaxed. So as we come to a seat, you can sit cross-legged. If that's uncomfortable for you, you can straighten the legs long. Some tips, since we have our props here to help support us sitting cross-legged, is it helps sometimes if this is uncomfortable to elevate the hips up. So you can do that by sitting on a blanket and just putting it kind of at the edge of the butt. And the hopes is that we have more of a diagonal with the knees sort of pointing down and the hips elevated a little higher. You can also use one of those pillows or the bolster you have, or even a block if you have that to sit on. But if you're comfortable just already cross-legged, then you're welcome to just stay as you are like that. Implementing a little more movement here before we move into our next posture. Bring your hands onto the knees. Seated cat-cows. Inhale, bring the heart forward, lift the chin. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Keep this up with your own breath. Just a few more repetitions. Good, and as you feel ready, just come back towards that seated posture. Take a few rolls back with the shoulders. And then begin to plant the hands back behind you. Unravel the feet and bring them onto the mat about the width of your mat. Press into the palms and start to reach the heart up towards the sky. Take an inhale and hold for the exhale. One more breath in and breath out. Our next yin pose is going to be a variation of stag pose. So we're going to take our left shin and bring it towards the top edge of our mat, almost as if the shin was towards parallel. And then we're going to take our right leg, and bring it towards the side of our body with the knee bent. So left shin is towards the top edge of our mat, and then right leg towards the side knee bent. Is that working for everyone? So you're welcome to stay right here. If you find that this is a challenging shape for you already, you can stay right here. If you're anything like me, my back sort of part of my bottom really tries to lift off the mat. So you really want to try to have that rooted down into something. And if you can't get that way by rocking back, if that's uncomfortable or starts to round your spine, then I encourage you to use your blanket or one of those pillows and just sort of tuck it underneath the right side of your bottom. That way both sides of your butt are sort of supported underneath something. And then once you find that, we'll start to press into our bottom. And if you want to go deeper from here, you can start to walk the hands forward over your left shin and thigh. And you might stay here at about halfway. And if your bottom starts to lift off the mat and those props, start to press it back towards that. really sealing it onto that blanket or the surface underneath you. If you want to go even deeper, you can start to fold even further forward, or you might even use props here. So using your pillows or your blocks to prop you up, perhaps resting your head on it. Perhaps taking a blanket and crossing it, over the legs if you want some more, or using a pillow on your lap like so to settle in this one. So there's quite a few layers and options of this pose. So take your time to settle in and set up. Remember, this is how the legs look, and we really want our bottom supported by something at all times. Find the shape that works best for you guys, and then we'll start to settle in here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Remember that Yin's all about finding that edge. The edge of intensity, but before the point of overwhelming. That just right edge where we'll really get deep into connective tissues, scar tissue, and perhaps super deep into our mind. How often is it that we just sit for minutes at a time without any agenda or anything to do next, but simply the challenge of accepting where we are right now, enjoying or learning from the feelings that are existing right in this moment. As the pose goes on, you might choose to go deeper, folding further forward. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Enjoy the pose in silence for a bit. And breath comes in, breath goes out. And breath comes in, breath goes out. And just a few more breaths here, everyone. You're doing awesome. Take a deep breath in and an open mouth exhale. As slowly as you can, start to walk back up onto the hands if you were folded down. Gently set your props out of your way for a moment. And we'll start to straighten our left leg straight out in front of us. And start to give the left leg a nice shake. And then straighten out the right leg as well and just shake those out. Take your left leg, bend the knee, and cross it over the right thigh. From here, we'll take our right arm and hug onto our left knee with it. Sit up as tall as you can and twist towards that left knee, bringing your left hand right back behind the spine. Sit up tall, breathe in, reach up through the crown of the head. Breathe out, twist towards your left, but keep hugging the knee in towards the chest. As you hug this knee in, also press down through the left part of the bottom. Just 2 breaths here. Inhale, turn the head back to center. Unwind your left leg, shake it out. And we'll start to get into our stag pose on the other side. So this time we'll bend our right knee and bring the shin towards the top edge of our mat, almost at a parallel shape. And then my left leg is going to be at the side of me with my knee bent as well. And then as you're here, if you find that the left part of your bottom is lifted up a lot off the mat, you can always use a blocker blanket underneath it to just help sort of support it to root it down. And then as you're here, you can choose staying right here or starting to fold forward. Or taking any other variation that's suiting you in this moment. Feel free to use your blocks, pillows, blankets to help kind of support you. If you decide to fold, get into the just right variation for you. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Settle into the pose. And can you remain here? And when the moments of intensity arrive, how do you respond? With fear, with doubt, or with courage? Using the practices we have to find contentment. Can I focus on what does feel good? Can I focus on bringing life into my body with my breath? What a privilege it is to take full, deep breaths. Taking a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Full breath in, full breath out. Keep holding the shape for just a few more breaths. As you're ready, slowly start to come up out of your folded shape. And we'll straighten our left leg straight out in front of us. As well as our right leg, give the right and left leg a good shake out. Now bend your right knee and cross it over the left leg. Taking your left hand, grab onto the right knee, twisting towards the right, and use your right hand right behind the spine to help you sit up tall. As you twist, hug the right knee in towards the chest. Take an inhale, breath. Hold for the exhale. One more inhale. One more exhale. Slowly turn back forward. Uncross your right leg, wiggle it out. legs extended out long. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up. And a deep breath out, sweep the arms over. We'll come onto our knees next. If you find that the surface underneath you is hard, then just bring a flat blanket underneath the knees and come to kneeling on it. And we'll start in a kneeling posture here. And my feet are just gently turned out, almost like kind of making a triangle, like so. And then from here, actually I'll bring my knees together. So let's just keep the feet back behind us. And I'm going to start to bring my bottom towards my heels. If I start to feel any pain in my knees, I'll stop and come back up and reassess. Some props that I can use along the way is perhaps sitting on a block, or again, a pillow if you don't have a block, or a rolled up blanket if you only have a blanket. Just something to kind of take a lot of the pressure off of the knees and heels if you're feeling some pain sitting the bottom all the way on the heels. So find an option that's going to work best for you. You can bring the heels just to the outsides of your bottom. This is our hero's pose. If the knees start to lift, try your best to keep them down towards the mat. And if that's the case, you might try to sit back up on a blanket or a pillow or a block. Once you've settled into the pose and it feels right for you, begin to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Feeling our hips now more together. Allow them to recover after all the openness in the body today. Focusing on one breath at a time, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Gently bring the hands onto the mat and stomp off the tops of the feet, shaking out the legs. Now we'll set our props off to the side. But go ahead and keep any props that you'd like to use in our final pose of rest close by. We'll come to lying on our backs. Once you're ready, hug the knees in towards the chest. Separate the arms out wide, creating a T-like shape with the arms. And let the knees flop over to the right, rolling all the way onto the right hip. As the knees go over to the right, you'll reach your left arm over to the left. Try your best to get the left shoulder blade down onto the mat, even if that means the knees lift a little bit. If your knees are lifting, you can use a block or a blanket or any of your props and just bring it in between the knees. That way you can get that left shoulder blade glued down to the mat. You can turn your head to the left. And perhaps rest your right arm on top of the left knee. Remember, we'll be here for some time. With each breath, can you keep the mind here in the present moment? Contentment is all about being right here, right now. Not striving for anything else. But being okay with what is right now. And does that mean that things are always going to be great? No. It means cultivating a heart of contentment even when things aren't great. Because always wishing for something more robs us of what is right now. robs us of the chance to learn, the chance to grow, and the chance to appreciate all that we do. As the pose goes on, if you find it gets too easy, you can take your left leg and wrap it around your right, almost like sitting cross-legged. That will deepen the twist quite a bit for you. If your legs are raveled, unravel them. Inhale, slowly bring the knees back to center. Rock side to side. And now send your knees over to the left. Reaching the arms out wide. Rooting your right shoulder blade down towards the mat. As you reach the knees over to the left. The breath comes in, breathe in. The breath goes out, breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. As you're here, check in with the mind. Perhaps settling in throughout class has gotten progressively easier. Or perhaps as each pose goes on, the mind begins to stir a bit more. No matter the outcome, can we accept that that is where we are right now? And if perhaps we had no expectations except being content, then we could find that acceptance of where we are right now. Slowly bring the knees back to center. Gently rock from side to side. Take any last movements here that may feel good in the body. Once you feel ready, squeeze the knees tightly in towards the chest. Take an inhale, bringing the forehead into the knees. Breathe in, squeeze tight. And an open mouth exhale, Shavasana, where we lay our arms and legs long onto the mat. Come to lying down. We can also use our props here, you guys. If you find discomfort in the low back, then use your blocks or your blanket or your pillows under the thighs or the knees. If you find that lying on your back is uncomfortable in general, then find your Shavasana today lying on your side. I always like to lie on my side, cover myself with a blanket, and even bring a pillow next to my side to gently cradle. Once you settle into the just right pose for you, take a deep breath in and an open mouth exhale. Return towards your natural breath rhythm. Perhaps dimming the lights around you. Remind yourself that there's nothing else to do besides restore. Besides dive in deeper to how we're feeling and to our purpose. Letting go of that restlessness, and owning in on our destiny, and owning in on our destiny that's right in front of us. I invite you to cultivate contentment and rest here. As you're lying here in your final pose of rest, what does the word contentment mean to you now? Perhaps what does the word contentment feel like now? If you're craving more this time, feel free to just pause me now and continue resting here. Perhaps reflect on if the practice of yoga, using our breath, helped you at all in this journey of contentment. What tools do you have and feel that you can use to help you through this? Because when things go on around us that are unexpected, it can be hard to be content. Remember the tools that you have and the practices that you stick with that help you with these things. As you feel ready, start to come onto your favorite side if you're not already. Rolling onto your right or your left side. Eventually, use the hands to gently press yourself up towards a seat on your mat. The eyes will come to close, and the hands will meet at the heart. Today, I challenge myself that if I didn't enjoy what I could of the situation that was frustrating me, then I wouldn't enjoy anything about that situation at all. I chose to find a little bit of contentment and turn it into joy. Despite all that was happening around the situation, it was frustrating. I found the silver lining and rode the wave of contentment. I invite you to do the same in your practice, in your life, or perhaps to be a light and share this with others. Taking a collective breath together as a community, breathe in, breathe out. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey. Namaste. Thank you so much, you guys, for those of you that joined me today. This is my rendition of the Yin class. I moved through the poses a little faster and added some movement in there. Just keeping in mind that some of you may be beginners to Yin, I wanted to make it accessible to you. Again, you guys, like I mentioned, sometimes I still practice forms of Yin and feel like anxious or almost like defeated, so to speak, at the end, just because the mind can be running and running. So if that was you today, I encourage you not to get discouraged. Notice how your evening unravels, notice how you sleep, notice how the next few days unfold, and really see how the practice suited you. Let me know how you guys feel and what I can do to better serve you guys. Feel free to just follow me on my journey for more content. And feel free to just reach out if you guys need anything.